Hi, my name is Mark Slotman. I just accepted a position at my school to be the bullying coordinator, which means I'm going to be investigating bullying instances which are reported in our school. And so I've been starting to look into this, and I've noticed that we do not have a anti-bullying program. And so we are going to be taking a look at what an anti-bullying program is, what we need to be doing to begin to implement it, and how this implementation will need to be taking effect over the next couple years. An anti-bullying program is a very high priority and should be for every school. It's reported by Anzari in 2015 that 28% of 12 to 18-year-old students have reported bullying at some sort of time. It is also reported that of those reported instances, 20% of those bullying cases are happening on school campuses. Now, the small graph to the right shows 28 out of 100 little blocks that are blocked off or colored differently to represent the 28%. Now, statistically, we can really only show that, or we can really only say that 28% of students are being bullied. But those are reported cases. Unfortunately, I think we have to really look at the bigger perspective of things, knowing that a lot of students are not actually reporting these, and though 28% is still a number that is not a number that I'm okay with having within my school or within other schools. We also need to be running under the impression that that number is higher than 28%. And lastly, Lacey also shows that chronic bullying does lead to lower academic achievement. Now, there is a need for anti-bullying program not only for the student safety, but also because teachers are not properly equipped. Studies have also shown that bullying differs from class to class. How one bully or bullying group acts in one class, let's say a fourth grade class, is totally different than how a bullying group or somebody who is bullying would act in a first grade classroom. Also, we can see that through these anti-bullying programs, improving the school climate will lead to higher academic performances. Anzari does a really great job of being able to show three features that are shown in most effective anti-bullying programs. These are norms that she's found through most of her research. Those three features are schools having a positive school climate. They focus on long-term implementation, and they make sure that they have consistent strategies. Having a positive school impact means emphasizing this. This should be infused into school curriculum. Our school right now does character education, which is a once a month character education word such as responsibility, which is defined as doing what you're supposed to do. And each class kind of takes a little bit of time throughout the month to talk about that specific character ed trait, and there is a new one each month. Now, I would not say this is infused into our school curriculum. I would say that this is added onto our school curriculum. And so there is a difference from infusing a emphasis on positive school climate to actually having it just be a one-off lesson once a month. Another key ingredient in making sure that the school is emphasizing a positive school climate is focusing on the whole school for prevention. Not just emphasizing a focus on prevention with high-risk students or what some people call frequent flyers. This is a whole school approach, so that is holding the whole school responsibility, and the whole school is holding each other responsible for their actions. And the last part I really think is a great idea is to involve youth directly in program planning and evaluation in this anti-bullying program. As much as we as administrators and teachers like to know exactly what is going on within the students, within their friend groups, when they're at school. There is a very real truth that shows that students are experiencing way different things than we see on the outside. So to be able to involve students in this can be invaluable. The second feature of a very effective anti-bullying program is a long-term commitment to the program implementation. Any program that you're implementing is going to take or should have a long-term goal set and a commitment to the long term. This type of a program is not a program that can be implemented and see the effects that a school might want to see within a year, 2 years, or even 3 years. We're talking about a climate change within the school, and it can take up to 3, 4, 5 years sometimes to see these types of programs really start to dig their teeth in and show progress. But within these long-term programs, there needs to be a dedication to all staff professional development. That all staff means any staff that comes in contact with students during the day, whether it's janitorial staff, teachers, administration, secretaries, even lunch aides, recess aides, in-school aides, being able to make sure that they are all in the know about what's going on and they're receiving professional development throughout the year on how to work with bullying within the school. There also needs to be a clear plan for the program rollout so everybody is on the same page as this implementation moves forward. And lastly, there needs to be data-driven program evaluation. A lot of times these programs can feel like they are not working, or they feel like they're working really well in the other case, but there needs to be data that supports what is actually being felt, because this is such a loose entity to be able to quantify. There needs to be data to be able to back up the effectiveness of the program. Lastly, there needs to be clear and concise strategies that are being translated to everybody who is in contact with students, and there needs to be clear and consistent strategies that are being communicated to the students and the parents so that they are on the same page when it comes to anti-bullying program. These strategies need to be policies that are proactive, looking forward, and not reactive to situations that may pop up, and they need to be frequently communicated with staff, parents, and students. There also needs to be clear guidance for teachers for reporting bullying, investigating bullying. There needs to be a clear guidance for disciplinary procedures that needs to go for both staff and parents and students, so there are no obligatory opportunities within this program being rolled out. And there also needs to be clear guidance for if or when law enforcement may need to be involved in the situation. Here's a quick look at an implementation plan of this anti-bullying program. 5 big goals would be to provide clear definitions of what bullying is, what harassment is, what cyberbullying is, so that teachers and aides and staff and even students know exactly what we talk about when we are throwing those words out. Another goal would be to create student engagement activities where students are engaging not only in creating the plan, but also being proactive and talking about what bullying is, how it can be prevented, how have they experienced bullying, how can we change the culture around the school. Our third goal would be to construct a clear protocol for reacting to incidents. So these clear protocols do need to be developmentally based, and they need to be based on severity and gradually moving kind of up the rung with different tiers of discipline. Also, there needs to be a continual assessment that needs to be developed before this implementation begins so that we know what we are assessing, we know how we are assessing, and we know what is being successful and what needs to be tweaked. And lastly, there needs to be professional development that is created for all staff, as we've previously mentioned. Moving forward, this is a proposed schedule moving forward for the anti-bullying program. Beginning in August, we would start recruiting and developing an anti-bullying team, which would consist of administration and staff and parents and students. In September, we would begin to review and amend the anti-bullying plan that is in place. Right now, I don't know that there is one, and so it would possibly be starting to create that anti-bullying plan. I gave a little gap of this timeline to be able to meet a couple times to be able to go through the whole process so that we would be able to have a presentation that we would come back and present to the board in November for approval. And then I made an even bigger gap to be able to have time for changes or amendments that the school board would like to see so that we can get an anti-bullying program completely approved by the board moving forward. After the board has completely cleared it, we would begin to construct the clear implementation plan, and by April we would begin implementations with staff trainings. We would be beginning staff trainings in April, which would give us all of April, May, and the beginning part of June to begin this, so that as teachers come back in the next year, we would be able to implement this anti-bullying plan at the beginning of the year and not be starting at stage or at step one when teachers start coming back in August for professional development. And just a last little bit of why now is the 28% and most likely more than 28% of students that have been bullied and may continue to get bullied within our schools. We have a responsibility as a school to make sure that every student has a safe environment that they can come to. And part of that is making sure that we are able to decrease the amount of times bullying and hopefully have it where we have absolutely no reports of any bullying within our school.